Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Aggie and today I'm going to be doing a part 2 to my last video. On my last video we were obviously watching Chantal have her mini Menti bee. And I ended the stream because I was watching it on Kick and I thought to myself, oh gosh, she's just going to keep going around in circles, so potentially I've got covered some of the main points that I wanted to cover, right? But the lovely barbecue chillin has done a cut down of the entire stream, and there's a chunk of things that happened after I ended my video that are pretty juicy that I'd kind of like to cover. So I thought, right, I've got a little bit of time and space this morning, so let's jump into it.
I know I have to do a lot. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm right in any Muslim community. I feel so judged. He's just a
Of
product
course,
of
you're
how
going to
he
be
was raised and
judged.
born and his beliefs and stuff like that. But why would I want to be with someone whose family doesn't like me, like, or approve? Like, why would I want to put myself through that insecurity all the time? He needs me to like be.
First of all, I'm very happy with that. That's with that. Oh, poor screenshot. Thank you very much. Lovely stuff. Anyway, so she's saying obviously about feeling judged by the Muslim community. Of course, you're going to be judged by the Muslim community. They're watching you actively go against a lot of the things that they value and a lot of the ways that they potentially believe that somebody that is following that particular belief system should act. Again, I'm not going to get into it too much because I'm not really well versed on it, so I don't want to say something wrong, but I know enough to know that her coming on and burping, farting, screaming, swearing, and actively not seeming to pray through these times where she technically should be praying, etc., that's gonna be a lot of red flags to a lot of people that do follow it. So you're going to be judged. You can't join a religion and then go on about it and then actively do not just nothing, but things that go completely against it and then wonder why and moan about being judged. That's just stupid, but yeah, there we are. And then you're talking about his family. His family dislike and disapprove of you because you were an absolute fucking nightmare of a person. They're just trying to protect their family member. Because, for example, when he was on holiday with them, you were sending text messages to him, telling him that you were going to trash his family home. And you don't think that he talked to them about that? So his generational family home that he was doing his best to try and sort out, that he had ended up in because you got him booted out of Kuwait with your shit. Obviously, I know that he himself ran because of some of the shit that he was getting up to, but you get what I mean. It was like she was the trigger that pushed the dominoes that started everything. So he's already there because of your fuckery. And your fuckery highlighted his fuckery, you know. And then you're going to be trashing his home. Then his neighbours are having to come out because you're screaming at him. You're accusing them to a massive public audience of being potential killers. And you're like, oh, well, why should I be around him? His family don't approve of me. At no point, it's wild, in no point in this scenario does Chantal reflect upon the reasons why. And when she does briefly reflect about the reasons why, she just quickly puts it under, oh, well, I was freaking out because, you know, I have mental health issues. And then she skips straight past it, you know, because that's the excuse that should be, you know, everyone should just be like, accept and then just move on. It gives her, what's the saying, carte blanche, is that the one? Like, to just basically do whatever she wants. Oh, it doesn't matter, and you should automatically forgive me, and you should automatically not just forgive me, but you should completely forget about everything that happened and never bring it up again. And she is just in her own fucking world.
Mentally stable, so I don't freak out like I did in Syria.
There you
You
go,
know,
freak
but like, he
out.
doesn't realize like a lot of my insecurity comes from what he did to me in the past, and then he's not even willing to like be, you know, super comforting about that. Like, just move on, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like.
Okay, so basically you're trying to say then that part of the reason that you lose your shit is because of the stuff that he did to you in the past. So again, you're trying to sidestep your responsibility on that one because apparently now it's his fault. Right, okay. That kind of follows your general path of what you like to do when it comes to blaming other people. But then also what makes me smile is that she's saying about like, oh, he's not super comforting when I get like this. Of course he's not super comforting, Chantal. He doesn't give a fuck about you. He's not going to put the effort in to be super comforting to you. And especially when he believes you're more than likely being manipulative. And also the fact that you chose to forgive him. You chose to forgive him. You came on the internet absolutely batting his corner. You came on with that blooming stupid red lipstick, being smug as fuck, telling everybody about, oh, you've improved my marriage. Him doing all this stuff. So haters, you can just put up with anything because you've just improved my marriage. Our marriage is stronger than ever. Ba 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 ba. And behind the scenes, she's apparently breaking down with anxiety about the whole flipping thing. You have two choices. If you are the type of person who, if somebody cheats on you, you have the mental fortitude to be able to just forgive and put that aside and carry on for whatever reason, that's one thing. A lot of people don't choose to go that way because they think to themselves, right, okay, that is the trust broken. It's the end of it. I'm on that side of the argument. I genuinely think that if somebody cheats on you, the trust is broken, and I could never forgive that because I could never look at them and interact with them in the same way because there's something to me that's intrinsically needed that's been lost, right? So, but again, everyone's different in the world, so kind of live your best lives as best you can, okay? But with this one, what's fascinating is that she forgave him. Obviously there was the desperation side of it, but she also forgave him because she saw an opportunity to use the fact that he'd done this as a way to get her own way. It's like a little tool that she has in her Rolodex of bullshit, which she can bring out at any point. So if he decides that she's eaten too much fast food, and he sits there and says to her, no, I'm not going to go out and get you fast food because of this, she can then bring this out and say, oh, but I've got this thing eating disorder and all of this stuff, and I forgave you for cheating. I forgave you and I supported you through all of that shit, and you're not going to support me through this, and I need this and I need that. And it's a way of trying to get her own way and using that as a way to guilt him. But the thing is, Chantal, that tactic only works if the person gives a fuck. And I mean even a vague fuck. That's the only way that will work. And Salah doesn't give a fuck at all. He is there for the money, end of. And so the funny thing being is that she tries to bring this out to try and evoke some sort of emotional reaction to get her own way, because this one trades in emotions and guilt of other people, which is ironic considering she's saying she feels so guilty and all this stuff. It's like that's your bread and butter when it comes to manipulating other people. But anyway. And because he just turns around to her and says, oh, get over it, move on, she's just left there completely like, fuck. And in that sense, then she doesn't get what she wants. So whatever she doesn't get the reaction that she wants. And then it means that she doesn't get the outcome that she wants for whatever she's trying to manipulate for. And I think that's absolutely hilarious.
No, I'm just over that shit. I'm over that feeling. Like, maybe what happened just really fucking ruined it. Like, from the get-go. Like, there's just so many things I harbor that, like, why am I putting my nervous system through all of this trauma and then all of this pressure to be this perfect way?
Trauma. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, let's not dwell too much on the overuse of that word. Oh, my God. She's talking about kind of like the putting herself through all of this kind of stuff. Then don't. It's simple. And yes, you harbour everything. And that was one of the reasons why people kept on saying to you, not only about the massive red flags about what was in that guy's text messages, but the fact that when you turned around and told the community that you were going to forgive him, everybody that knows even the smallest thing about you said that's not going to work. Because Chantal doesn't forgive people. Chantal has sat here in her 40s telling stories about somebody that wronged her at a kid's sleepover when she was, I don't know, 11 years old. You know, she sat here and told us stories from how she was wronged at 11 years old, when she was in high school, when she was in random workplaces. You know, some shit that most of us would never even think about, let alone remember. Do you know what I mean? But this one holds it all. Bitter. And she has got it all stored up in her. God knows where on her, but it's all stored there. So she doesn't forgive. She doesn't forgive. She doesn't forget at all. And people that know her knew that and were like, this is not going to be good. But of course, she doesn't listen to anybody, so she came on in that red lipstick. I've forgiven him and our marriage is fantastic. So yes.
For somebody that's, you know, like, why? Like, why? Like, I need to just focus on myself. I don't know.
You're always focusing on yourself.
I don't feel like appreciated at like how I am. And he'll say, this is good for you. Like, you have to, I don't want to see you
She
die.
can be appreciated. What's to appreciate?
Like, I don't like having that pressure from someone, you know? The other day he texted me, he's like,
pressure.
I just went for a walk. Oh, what are you doing? I don't see any changes. What are you doing for the trip? Okay, maybe that's true, but like, why? Like, why?
See, that's the funny thing, right? So basically, she's gone on this massive blooming spiel, or whatever the saying is, spiel about how she's going to be changing her life and she's getting ready for this trip and it's all really important and Malaysia bees and and she's going to be on her health kick because this is so important, etc., etc. And so that's what she's put out there. That's what she said. And then all of these other actions then are going against that. Her community have asked questions, she's blocked them potentially, all this kind of stuff. And he's now saying to her, well, right, okay, I've been for a walk this morning. What have you done? Doesn't look like there's any change. And she herself says, well, yeah. So basically that's a truthful statement, right? That is, he's telling the truth. He's not trying to be shitty. He's just saying, you've been banging on about how this healthy arc and Malaysia bees and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not seeing any change. I've just been out for a walk. What have you been doing? She's admitting that that's truth. But then she gets an attitude with it. No, why should I feel guilty? Why should I feel guilty? Just because it's something that she doesn't want to do. It's just fucking, oh my God.
Putting myself through this, like, why? I'm starting to feel like
Don't
it's just
put
not worth these feelings I'm having. So maybe I'm growing up. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys, to be honest, but I'm more than likely, I'm leaning towards I don't want to go. I don't really want to go to Malaysia. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't think you've been able to go anywhere. Exactly. It's not about you not wanting to go. It's about you physically can't because of your own stupidity and your own fat shit. That's what it's about. But Chantal, again, will always twist things. She will always turn things around and basically, like when she got banned from the mall, all of a sudden, oh, this is the best thing in the world to ever happen because at the end of the day, I'm going to save money and I'm going to do this. We all knew that was shit. But she always has to turn it like we were saying about Salah cheating. All of a sudden, she comes on with that stupid fucking red lipstick and it's like, oh, yes, you know, this is the best thing that's ever happened to our marriage. You've made us stronger, blah, blah, blah. And now she... And now, obviously, this trip that she's been chatting about how excited she is about it, blah, blah, blah. Now she's not going to go, oh, well, you know, I didn't want to go anyway. No. It's just the most wild amount of coping on stream. And the fact is, you can't go, as Barbecue's put there. You know, you can't go. You just, like, you're not going to be able to even walk the distance across the airport with your bags, let alone anything else. And that's all because of your own fat shit nonsense. So I just, the way she spins it.
I feel like he's putting all this effort into his life over there.
Yeah,
business,
of course he is.
You know, all this stuff. And it's like, I'm like putting my life on hold to stay married to him.
So what's wrong with that? He's trying to rebuild his life. He's putting all this effort in over there. Yeah. Because you got him kicked out of the country that he'd been in since he was a child. And he's now in another situation where he's in a war zone, where he's having to try to rebuild his life. So what, you pissed off at the fact that he's making an effort to rebuild his life? And he's not just sitting on the sofa with his phone in his hand, waiting for you to text about something stupid. Do you see what I mean? It's like, right, okay.
And like to prove to him that I've improved as a person and I'm a better wife. He doesn't even want to show me like some of his house anymore because his family told him not to. Like leave it all out. Like I don't care what you do with her, just not inside of Syria. And I'm
Ooh. Ooh. Now, if that doesn't tell you a lot, the fact that his family don't even want her in Canada to be shown any part of the house, because they are so anti the shit that she brought that they just do not even want her to see the family home anymore. Wow, Chantal. Wow. And the fact as well that they've said, we don't care what you do as long as it's outside of Syria, as long as it's outside of the country. My God, Chantal. The impression that you've left on these people just from your... Because, I mean, how long was she there? It was only like 2 or 3 months or something, wasn't it, like that? I think 2 or 3 months. And you've left that much of an impression on those people that they don't even want your eyeballs on their home from Canada. Fucking hell. That's something. And what is also funny with that is that the option for her to ever go back to Syria is off the cards. Absolutely off the cards. Unless she tries to force her way over under the illusion that he would, leave his family and come and live wherever with her in Syria, which I don't know whether or not even she is quite that delusional. She's stuck here, in Canada. She can't just basically up and just run off back there because she is very much not welcome. Wow, Chantal.
I'm going out of my way to put my life on hold for someone like that.
You're not going out.
When I did nothing to his family.
Your life on hold?
You insulted my family. Really? Where? Oh, I said that they were. If anything happens to me, you know who did it. You know why? Because you threatened me, and you said that your family's nearby.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, he didn't threaten you. He basically said, if you carry on with the bullshit, you're going to see a side of me you don't like, which can mean anything from the worst of the threats right the way down to, I'm just going to give you some attitude that you've not been used to before. That doesn't equate to, and saying his family's nearby. What, he's probably saying that as in because you threatened to trash his house, that they would come over and stop you from trashing the house. So I'm assuming that that'd be something along those lines. But again, she takes no responsibility for any of it. Oh, you said all that shit about my family. No, I didn't. I just said this shit, and this shit about your family. And it was because this, and this. You behaved disgustingly towards his family, Chantal. And the fact that they have banned you from the country, their house, they don't want anything to do with you, is so well deserved. You earned that 100%.
What do you expect me to be? What do you expect me to say? Your family from the get-go insulted me. They didn't want you. Your one sister didn't stop talking to him because I was too old. I couldn't have kids, and I had OnlyFans before.
Ooh, that's another juicy tidbit, isn't it? So when she went over to Kuwait and that, his sister didn't want anything to do with her or stop talking to him because she was too old, couldn't have kids, and the OnlyFans stuff. Now, I think that those things are probably definitely involved in that decision, but I think it is the whole picture. I think that she probably saw or was sent by people online or whatever, or she even just did a basic search into her once Salah had mentioned that he was getting involved with this woman. She could have just gone online and had a quick look. And Chantal, you do realise that when people Google you, the amount of shit that comes up is wild. And none of it's good. And his sister probably looked at the absolute state of you, looked at the pictures of you with fucking chocolate smeared all over your face, high out of your mind, You, a £400 woman, flashing your boobs, flashing your flaps, flashing your ass, doing belly dances, being drunk, insulting everybody, all of this kind of stuff. Then add on to that OnlyFans. And she probably, again, looked and thought for her family member, oh God, this is not going to be good. This is a really, really bad influence. This is not going to end well. And she probably wanted nothing to do with it, and obviously tried to get him to have nothing to do with you. And rightly so, because what ended up happening? You ended up getting him kicked out of a country. Another thing that I repeat again, that she just never seems to fucking properly own. Yes, of course, the shit that would have come after would have been down to his own nonsense. So I'm not putting it all on Chantal, but the trigger that set off everything was her. Sorry, I had to cough and I had to sneeze all at once then. So anyway, coming back to what I was saying, is that she would rather muddy the waters and make the point about that this woman, his family member, doesn't like her because she's quote unquote barren, or quote unquote, too old, etc. So she wants to focus on that, and it's like, no, that's probably a little bit of it when they're looking at the longevity of him having a family and things like that, as they're looking to the future. But she zeroes in on that rather than the fact that his family, of probably, or his sister in this case, has looked at all of the stuff that is online about her, seen how hideous it is, seen the red flags, and done her best to try to stop him from making this decision by getting involved with her. And again, her fears were correct, because you ended up getting him kicked out of the country that he'd lived in since he was a child. So she wasn't wrong.
Why do I need to be in this situation? Fuck this. I'm 42. Peace is all I care about.
You will never have any
somebody
peace.
Treating me like a child. Don't swear. Your hair is showing. Don't laugh at men. Don't exercise in public. Your boobs are jiggling. Your ass is showing. Like, just stuff like that. Like, you didn't, why are you not on the treadmill today? You didn't lose any weight. And in the relationship, he did more bad to me than I ever did. So I'm doing all of this.
Excuse me? Excuse me. He, right. I'm just processing that. Okay. He sent degenerate text messages to a member of your community behind your back, right? Yeah, that's gross. You got him kicked out of a country and sent back to an active war zone. You being an absolute arse and not even listening to him when he was saying, when he was reading your chat and saying, the chat is saying, look, put the cat down, put the cat down, put the cat down. You were like ignoring them, ignore them, let's go, let's just go, yes, we'll do this. Your determination to get your own way, like that fat little kid that you are, started the ball rolling that got him kicked out of his country and sent back into an active war zone. And you somehow think that him sending some degenerate messages balances that out? You are...
For what? They want me to be something I'm not. So, you know what? Like, it's just, go. Like, why? You have your business there. You have your house. You have a car. I'm sure many women would want to be with you there. So why not just do that? No, I don't send him money. I don't. That's where you're wrong.
Exactly,
money.
I
can show you months of my bank statements. I can show you. Nothing. No sending him money. Canada cost of living, Glitter Queen, is so... you're right. My rent...
Chantal, you are 100% sending him money. 100%. We watched you with Nada, right? We watched how he actively treated you like shit. He was vile, he was nasty, he humiliated you time after time after time. And what were you doing behind the scenes? Anytime he texted you to say that he needed money, he would say, we saw some text messages where he would be like, I need money for cigarettes. And you would jump at the opportunity. And you'd be sending him hundreds of dollars. You'd be showing up at his house with all these gifts. After he humiliated you and cheated on you and given you STDs, you were buying him iPads and things like that. So we've seen what you do when it comes to men that absolutely humiliate you and actively tell you that you're gross and all this kind of stuff. And so you're telling me that we're now to believe that a man who is a little bit more subtle with his scam, who does actually try to pretend that he loves you, that if he asks you for money, you're not going to send everything that you can to him? Bullshit. You are 100% sending him money. And again, the reality is, if you weren't sending him money, he wouldn't be around. He wouldn't be around. You are 100% giving him money, Chantal, because we know that that's the only reason that he's still hanging around. The moment that he disappears completely is the moment that you would have genuinely stopped giving him money. Because there's no other reason for him to be around you. Why in the world do you think that he would continue to be around you? Because you bring so much peace to his life, yeah? With all the shit that you cause with his friends in Kuwait, with his family in Kuwait, with his family in flipping Syria. Because you're just so beautiful and attractive. No. You're 5 foot. You're as wide as you are tall. You know, sex and things like that is completely off the cards. Just from what we've seen of him, wink wink, and from what we've seen of you, it's just not physically possible. I'm not saying that to be shitty, I'm saying that just as a fact. There is no way that he can get to you in any meaningful way because of what he hasn't got going on and what you have got going on. So that's out the window. So, he's not getting that side of it. He can't have children with you, which is a big thing in his culture. So there's that side of it, which is gone. And then the fact that you act like a brat, you scream, you shout, you're verbally abusive, you're threatening. Like I said, you threatened to trash his house just because you didn't get your own way. You only think about your wants and needs. That's it. Like with that family trip, you didn't think about the fact that he's actually getting to know his family, spending time with them, and maybe he has to stay an extra day because he's with a group of people that would like to stay an extra day, and he's thinking about them and their desires and their wants to want to stay on. No. You didn't consider that maybe that's what he was having to kind of to think about. You just thought about the fact that, you weren't getting your own way, you wanted certain foods, he wasn't coming back, and therefore you started off a whole chain reaction of you going absolutely crazy, and then obviously all that stuff happened online and everything. So there is nothing about you that somebody would want to be with. Really, there isn't. Yeah, you can occasionally be, amusing, but those times are very short, especially these days. In the villa days, there was maybe a little bit more time, it's, but not so much these days. But that's my point anyway, that you are 100% sending him cash, 100%.
$22.60. My utilities are like $195 a month, my bad. BG's insurance is $50. I sponsor a child. She's $50 a month. All my subscription services are like $100 and something. Food is the big killer. I spend too much on food. And honestly, his family would probably really honestly disown him if he was not making a living for himself and relying on a woman. Like, they don't like that. Yeah, I want family that loves me. Like, I don't want to be ostracized.
Yeah, but how much of that is his family going to genuinely know about? Because my thought would be he could potentially keep that part away from them. Or he could say to them, look, she's an absolute piece of shit, and I'm doing my best to try and get as much money as I can out there, because the money that I get from her is going to benefit the family. So they probably allow a certain amount of this nonsense, because if it means that he gets money from you, the money that goes to obviously him, and it then goes to the family as a whole. I mean, didn't you come online and say, oh, your family was fine when it came to my money? Yeah. So you yourself have admitted that his family have benefited from the money that he gets from you. So that's probably why they allow it to a point, because they're like, well, it's extra money, and also the fact that you're so fucking vile that they probably think nothing of it guilt-wise about you getting scammed for it. They probably think you deserve it, to be fair.
And him having to plan and see me outside of his own country and stuff like that. I'm tired of this shit, and I'm tired of it, like, living in it, like, in the shadows. That's me neither, Tarot.
That's
Like,
kind of where
this
you
is all
belong,
news to
in the
me from a
shadows,
family
to be
perspective.
fair.
Maybe because I freaked out a few times. Like, the last day when they signed the
Yeah, you
divorce
freaked
papers.
out more than a few
When I signed the
times, and
divorce
when you
papers, like, I was
freak
kind
out,
of,
you go
I
way
freaked
above
out
and
after. I was really
beyond.
upset, and I got up and walked outside, and he came outside after me, and I was like, open the car door, I want to go now. And it was like hours before I had to go to the airport, and I didn't care.
So
I
you
was
had
like,
a
I want to go now.
massive
I don't want to be
strop.
around people. Like, you're humiliating me in front of your family. And I'm just like, I don't want to be here. And then his family involved in, like, hey, they're just like too involved in your business there, like in your marriage. Like, his younger cousin was there while they were signing the divorce papers. I'm just like, ew, like, this is our marriage. Why does there have to
What this one hates is the fact that he has support, because she has to manipulate and isolate people. That's how she works. She will come into your life pretending to be something that she's not, and then she will systematically go about dismantling the close relationships that you have, so you are just as isolated as her, but with her. We saw that in Kuwait with Allah. Allah had been his mate for God knows how long, got him a job and all this stuff. She turns up. Next thing you know, there's all that stuff going on with Allah. She's there, saying that his wife is all sorts of hideous stuff, and that he's this and he's this. And next thing you know, he's isolated, and the only thing that he's got is her. And I think he still went to see that other friend of his a little bit. But she will go around and systematically dismantle your close relationships so you can be in the shadows with her. And what pissed her off about Syria was that there were so many people around, and these are a hardy group of people, because obviously the amount of shit they've had to put up with, that when she barreled in and had an attitude and was trying to do all of this stuff, no, they just rallied around him. They absolutely rallied around him, given all the moral support and that he needed to be able to kind of do that kind of stuff in their presence. So when it came to signing the papers that she was apparently very much aware of, so he didn't spring anything on her in that kind of sense. They were all there because they wanted to make sure that he was going to be okay and that she didn't start any bullshit. And so in that situation, because Chantal talks a big game, but when it comes to people face to face, she doesn't act in the same way that she talks about. She just kind of scuttled outside and, again, to try and get him out of that and away from the family so she could lose her shit and do her performance and try to do a manipulation and throw her weight around. But they followed her out in that as well. And that has obviously pissed her off. Your family's too involved. What? So his family didn't allow you to be a nasty, abusive piece of shit. So that's them being too involved? No, they were just looking out for him. Because even though he's a dickhead, they care about him.
No, this is bullshit. Just the way he did it, like, I don't know. So don't expect me to not be upset about it. So I was like, hey, I'm, like, out of here. Like, there's just too many cultural clashes. I just can't.
And the moment they got you on that plane, oh my God.
I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be married into that.
Then don't.
Why? I've never felt like that with Pizza's mom. She still hugs me every time I see her.
Pizza's a fucking degenerate as well.
What was that? Did you hear a quack? I think I'm losing my mind. Now I'm gonna feel so bad because he really wanted to go. I can't just say F him because obviously I have an emotional attachment you don't have, But it's much less than before. Did I want to go to Malaysia? I really like traveling and I really wanted to see him. So yes, I wanted to, but now I don't really want to. No, I can't go back to Syria. I don't want to go back to Syria. I don't want to. I feel relieved actually right now. Like,
again, it's another one of those things, isn't it? I never want to go. I never want to go back to them all. Oh, they've done me a favor. I never want to go back to Syria. Yeah, right, okay. Ironically, the moment that, you are pretty much banned from that country and his family home and anywhere being near him, all of a sudden, yeah, you'd never want to go, would you? You're chatting shit.
Feeling of no pressure is making me feel so good. it doesn't matter if I don't lose £1 million in a month, or it doesn't matter if I still acknowledge I have to get help, but I don't feel the pressure to change everything about myself in a month. Honestly, what was going to start Monday was a water fast, because that's my
Oh, fuck.
like restrict and be cycle, just constantly every day. But that was adding extra stress. Like, I shouldn't, like, I'm not focusing on what I need to be focusing on. I was focusing on like all the trip, and it's like I have all these problems that are just like never going to go away. I don't know if I'm bipolar. I need like a real.
You weren't focusing on anything to do with it. You were talking about the trip, but doing absolutely nothing around it. And all of a sudden now, yes, you feel better because you've basically, had your bit of a cry fest. And now you feel like you can go back to just eating whatever you want and you're just going to cancel the trip. In the same way that you're avoiding the pain of walking by buying the scooter, you're now avoiding the pain of the reality of you not being ready to do any of this by cancelling the trip. And Salah's not going anywhere. Whilst the money is still coming from you, he's not going anywhere. And also the fact that all this kind of talk about you saying, oh, well, why should I have to put up with it? As if you're going to walk away by your own volition at any point. No, you're not. Because, Chantal, you're not hot stuff. I would love to see you get back on Tinder and stuff like that, like as you are now. I would absolutely fucking love to see that, but it's just not going to happen. So you're going to cling on to Salah like a life raft in the ocean as long as you possibly can with that money until eventually the whole thing ends up blowing up in one way or another. So you're completely kidding yourself if you think it's going to go any other way.
Big psychiatric assessment to really get on proper medication, because I'm not talking about Salah, please. Thank you. I told him everything, but he hasn't answered me yet. He probably fell asleep or something. I sent him everything I told you guys. I sent him in a message, so he'll see that. I know people get ready. Like, the thing is, it's not his fault. He's treating my problems like they can be easily fixed with just going to the gym. And you can't treat being like that. You can't treat an addiction like that. It takes a lot of help. And I know I'm always opposed to therapy, but I need something. I need definite help. I don't want that pressure about being a good partner. Like, I'd rather be peaceful and alone. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. Just for a few friggin' bam, 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 and, no. Sorry.
Leave that fucking cat in Syria. And yes, you should be frightened about going back to Syria. Not only because of the scary stuff that they've got going on, but the fact that you will not get in any way a warm welcome if you go back there. So you'd be absolutely stupid if you ever even thought about waddling your fat ass back into that country. But what was I going to say? Also, the interesting thing is that, she's now looking all kind of like, oh, I feel so much better because of this and this. And I do believe her. And the reason is because what she's doing in her mind, she's putting herself into the place where she is being herself. And that's comforting and it feels nice. So Chantal, be that. Take off the hijab, drop all this nonsense, drop Salah, and just live, like I said in my last video, live your genuine life, which is basically somebody that cannot be asked to do anything, doesn't want to diet, doesn't give a fuck about the situations with her mental health, because ultimately it's everybody else's fault anyway, and she firmly believes that. So why would she go through it? You're not interested in any of that stuff. You just want to live your life on your terms with whatever shit it brings, and that's it. So just do that. Do that. All of the stress that you've got is because you're trying to, like I said before, you're trying to live a life that's not you. You're putting on an act, and then because your act to other people needs to extend past you just saying it, because Chantal thinks if she just comes out and says, oh, I'm a Muslim, says that, she's these different things, that she's on a diet and that she cares about her health, that should be enough. But no, most human people look for your words, but then also your actions. And if your actions are nothing in relation to being involved in that kind of religion or believing in it or standing by their values at all, and then your actions around your health are completely in the opposite direction when it comes to opportunities to exercise, when it comes to your food choices, when it comes to all of that kind of stuff, completely the opposite, then people are going to have questions, and they're going to have criticisms, and they're going to have judgments. So if you don't want that, you need to drop those fantasies and just be like, do you know what? Hi, I'm Chantal. I'm living my fat shit lifestyle, and at the end of the day, yeah, I use a scooter because I can't be asked to walk. I'm eating whatever I want because, frankly, I value this over my health. It's just do that. Because obviously people would still have a problem because it's a negative way to live. But you'd be living way more truthfully. And I think there would be people out there that would respect that a little bit more. And you'd be less stressed. So just fucking do that. And just try not to be an arse to people. I know that it's never going to happen because you are a massive ball of chaos just ricocheting off any of the poor bastards that end up coming into your orbit. So anyway, and on that positive note, I am going to end this video. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a lovely day or a lovely evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will see you again. Bye.